gonna have to zoom out quite a bit first.
No, I'll only start talking. Good morning everybody and welcome to Wild Earth on this quite mystical morning, and I'm hoping we might be able to catch the sunrise quite nicely. It's quite a beautiful mist that's kind of covered everything. It's quite beautiful, and it's all out here on the open plain here of the open quarantine area. There's one Gnu that we found. I'm going to try and see if we can catch up with him. We just thought this was just so beautiful to start with the lion heads. Those flowers that are no longer flowering, but the remnants are still remaining. Quite beautiful. My name's Tara. Joining me on camera this morning is Becky, and back in front of control is Herman. So if you would like to send through any questions this morning, please do send them through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv. And as I say, it's always great to hear from you, whether you're sending through information or whether you're joining in a quiz. It is always great to hear from you, so please do join in and send questions and things like that. You can hear the Franklins calling. Dawn chorus there this morning, alarm clock. And I don't know about gorillas in the mist, but we might get some baboons in the mist. They are home. And have a quick look there. But I did find some rhino tracks heading off into the south, so I also want to try and follow those up. And apparently the cubs were somewhere around the Sandy Patch area yesterday, so I think it'll be worth trying to check out that area too. But first of all, if anybody's got their dung brains in and wants to join in the ID of some dung, just found this one just here. Haven't had this one for a little while. So if anybody wants to guess at what made this, and sort of turn it around, you'll be able to see the shape of it. So that's pretty standard. Babies maybe do just a little bit smaller, but not much smaller. So, and then if I can break it open for you, you can just see inside. Fine, but not that fine. Finer than, say, a large animal. And it's a shame you can't smell it, because it smells very similar to maybe a domesticated animal you might have had contact with at home. So who made this dung? That is the question. But let's get going. In case you missed the address to send your guesses through, send them through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv and put in the subject line whose dung you think it is. See if the baboons are still around in the trees. They're starting to wake up a little bit. But we'll have a quick drive down towards Chelapan, see if we can find those rhinos. Apparently there wasn't really anything seen on the waterhole camera, apart from the thick mist. There is a little bit of cloud build-up there. I don't know if we're going to get a cloudy sky, whether the sun's going to burn through. Hold on to your thermals, because it is going to get a little bit chilly even when the sun does rise through the movement of the air. Good morning everybody. You can just about see bodies in there, just up here. This is actually our broadcasting mast, if anybody wants to know. The baboons are just sitting in the trees there. Our Gowrie gang. if anybody wants to follow them, then they do have a Facebook page, and when Graham comes back, who's been studying them, he's not here permanently now, but he still drops in from time to time, and it's amazing the baboons still recognise him, no matter how long he's had away from them. Okay, so Luan going back with elephant. A little bit small to be elephant, but I can see where you're going with that one, Luan. Is it Wiley one? And Kathy coming back with the right answer there. And there's little Evelyn on the tree there with her mother, Mrs. P. Patty coming back with donkey. Close, Patty, but we don't have donkeys on the reserve here. Outside, you could find them, but not inside the reserve. And Cheryl and Gregory coming back with the right answer. And if we do have any new viewers, you might be wondering what on earth the fence is doing. We do have people living on the reserve, myself included, as well as the rest of the team. We do live on the reserve. We actually live a stone's throw from here. And this is the owner of Juma's house. And the baboons have cottoned on to the fact if they sleep behind the fence, they're a little bit safer than outside the fence. And it's possibly slightly warmer. I know a few of the viewers brought forward that possibility, and it could well be with the house and the movement inside. Could well be warming them up, maybe even the mast itself. Oh, hello. Okay, well, I think Becky wants to move on. Let's see. So let me just have a quick. There's Tankman. Tankman's on the right, that's the big male. A couple of Egyptian geese flying over. Can't quite see who that is though. That could be Gordy. He's in your screen now, the younger male. There's the two males in this group. And then we have the two larger females with babies at the moment. Oh! And Pam did send through when Genesis was born. It was actually May. I totally overshot his age the other day. So he was born in May, and it was Evelyn that was born in November. Got those two confused there. So it'll be a little while before Genesis turns to a brown colour. There you go. There's little Genesis and Shirley, and the one standing is Elby. And it looks like her rump is actually decreasing in size, so I think she may have been successful with the mating with Tankman. So it'll be about 6 months from now if she has been successful, but we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that rump. And males find the redder and the more swollen the rump, the more attractive they are, or the more attracted to it they are. I have no idea if it's painful or not. It looks painful. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a little while before they do actually move. They seem to be pretty settled, and the sun is probably going to take a little while to rise. So this is the perfect time to groom. Susie coming back with Karula's dung. I wouldn't be picking Karula's dung up, especially with all the bacteria that's found in carnivore dung. So, nice try though. Could have been. Shirley is right. Shirley coming back with the right answer. Speaking of Shirley, Shirley is really not looking like she wants to move anytime soon. Quite happy. Good morning, Dawn. I'm wanting to know what animals go after the baboons. Leopards are probably going to be there on the list, and that's one of the reasons why they react, especially to the leopards in this area. They've obviously have had a few run-ins with leopards in this area. Although baboon males, oh, there's little Evelyn. She's starting to wake up a little bit. She's right on the end of the branch, coming down. We can maybe move over. That's it. Hello, little Evelyn. So they do tend to react and bark when there's leopard around, so it does suggest that leopards have killed them in the past. But as I say, big males have been known to kill leopard. There's a very famous man around the 1900s called Eugene Moret, and he was probably one of South Africa's geniuses of the age. He was a fully qualified botanist, zoologist. He was the local lawman. He was the local lawyer. He was a physician. He was a jack of all trades and excellent at all of them. And he did a lot of research on baboons and termites, which still stands today. And he actually documented 2 male baboons killing a leopard on the reserve where he used to work. So it is possible that males can do some serious damage to these cats if they're not careful. Male baboons will also kill cheetah cubs and maybe even leopard cubs if they find them. So that's why not many animals really bother the baboons. But certainly, as I say, the leopards, possibly the lions to some degree, although they don't really shout for the lions as much in this area as maybe what they do in other areas. So maybe the lions haven't bothered them too much. But if there's a youngster on the ground and there's an eagle, maybe an eagle will actually take the youngster. Some of the larger eagles, like the Marshall. And that's one thing that's is very evident, and it really does depend on the area, what's in the area, and the numbers of each animal and the interactions and things like that. So, as I say, there may be baboons in another area that aren't really hassled by the leopards at all, so they won't have that fear of them. If there's troops that are much larger, they might not have that fear of being attacked as much as maybe a smaller troop like this. And unfortunately, one of the biggest problems is humans, and the reason being humans sometimes encourage baboons by feeding them, and the baboons learn that they can get food from humans, and then they do become a danger, especially with those huge canines. And there is a problem down in Cape Town because of it, and baboons will actually break into people's houses and intimidate people for food. Whereas here we've just got the problem that they break into our houses, but we haven't actually fed them food, so they don't associate humans with food. So they haven't crossed that boundary as yet. So it's still, they see the house as a tree, I suppose, where they can find food. It's that sort of connection, not, oh, the people live there, the people have food, let's go intimidate the people for the food. They haven't made that connection yet. Okay, I think it is going to be a little while before they wake up. So let's leave them to it and see if we can follow. Well done, Peggy. Good morning to you. And well done to everybody who did guess right. It was the zebra dung. Donkeys in pyjamas, as Patrick called them, in honour of Patrick. So Patty, close with your donkey. Ah, here comes the sun. Isn't that a song? Here comes the sun. Say so. Swing the camera. I think I'm gonna just stop where we were this morning, because that's gonna look quite pretty, I think. I can hear a pearl-spotted owlet calling. Stunning, hey? A beautiful soft light just bouncing off the mist. Sorry, spoiling the picture. Sound that you don't want to hear. Stunning. Cool, shall we move on? See if we can catch up with these rhinos. That is beautiful though. Look at that. Wow. So, just for those of you who are wondering what on earth I said about the zebra and the domesticated, it does look very similar to that of the dung of the horse and the donkey. And it smells very similar as well. If you get some fresh dung, it smells very similar to that of a zebra or a donkey, as a horse and donkey. A little bit finer than the rhino and the elephant, but obviously a much smaller animal, even though they do have quite a poor digestive system. They are hindgut fermenters, just like the rhino and the elephant. Look at this. This is very odd. You can just see that cloud lifting. Wow. That is amazing. Oh, that is gold. I can feel that now, sure. Stations. Are there any updates this morning?
No updates.
Copy, thank you. I had some on Combi and Konzo's Fembring south from Ingaskaya. You might have seen those already though. And good morning to you, Johnny. Johnny is all the way from, was it Washington? Did I hear right? Aha, Washington DC. Good morning to you, Johnny. And unfortunately I can't fill you in on exactly what happened. Apparently there was a rhino poached in Kruger. I don't know the full ins and outs of what happened there, but wanting to know what are the preventative measures our Juma friends, obviously the rhinos in particular, and in Kruger apparently the poaching has decreased because they have got the military involved, and we're actually very close to the Kruger boundary. And there's not a guarantee. There's nothing to say that poachers won't hit here in Juma. But we do have an anti-poaching patrol that patrol the fence day in, day out, night time as well. And any strange goings on or any strange footprints, even if we find footprints that shouldn't be where we find them, or anything that's unusual, we report it. So we've got a lot of eyes on the ground. Obviously with guides going out and movement in the area all the time, it should decrease the possibility, but as I say, there's no guarantee. I know they've been doing some training and things like that with the helicopter flying low and having units and things like that. We've been seeing that helicopter flying over and stuff. And hopefully it's going to be effective. Well, apparently it has been, because as I say, the poaching has dropped off. It's very saddened to hear that there was another rhino poaching in the Kruger. Apparently there were 7 this week. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I just can't believe from last year it seems to have just increased tenfold. I mean, I remember it was actually there was a time where it was dropping off, and then there's all of a sudden this boom. And unfortunately, it's no longer, a poor man trying to make a bit of money to help his family. It's fairly wealthy people wanting to get a share of a very large sum of money, and it's getting very technical now with, unfortunately, private game reserve owners being hit by, unfortunately, a couple of vets being involved, flying with a helicopter, drug the animal, cut off the horn, leave it for dead, and then make their way out of there. So it's quite a precision operation now. But you do still get, unfortunately, people on the back of that also just coming in and shooting the animal as well. And it's because there's a big demand for it. There's a market for it. If the market wasn't there, there'd be no value on these rhino horn whatsoever. If there's no demand, there's no money to be made. The sad thing is there's demand for it. And that's where one of the biggest problems lies. And until you get rid of the demand, then there is going to be this problem. And now I've heard that with the military coming into Kruger, because Kruger is a huge area. Kruger, I think you could actually put Britain inside Kruger. That's how big the Kruger National Park is, so you can appreciate there's a lot of open areas where people can't get to or don't get to. They're perfect for people operating. But now that the military are there, it's actually pushing poachers into private areas. Thanks, Alan. Thank you so much for coming back with some information. If you've been on drives with us where we found buffalo, and I think it was Jojo Square, and hopefully Jojo Square is on board this morning. Alan has found the reason why buffalo have the white marks underneath the eyes, and I'd love to know where you found that, Alan, because as I say, I've been looking and and nothing has really been showing up. As I say, if you look at old, sometimes young animals, some of them have these white marks, and apparently it's the evaporation of the tears and leaving the salty residue behind. So it's actually from eyes watering. So that's obviously why makes this salty residue on different parts of the face, because it will depend on where those tears fall, or the moisture from the eye at least. And it could be any reason from wind in the eyes to disease, but that is what causes those white patches. You have just made my day, Alan. Thank you so much. So I've been looking and looking and looking, and that does make a lot of sense. No more tracks of the rhino coming out. I think there's a rhino in this block here somewhere. Branch to the right. Okay, well let's see if we can, we'll do a lap around here. Oh wow. They're able just to catch that. That's just so beautiful with the trees. The sun's rays just coming through. I don't know if we'll be able to capture it nicely. But that just looks so beautiful. And the temperature has dropped quite dramatically as the sun has risen. Yeah, it was those trees a little bit more to the right. Yeah, oh, those ones, yeah, okay, they're being blocked out. Just looked absolutely beautiful. It's just came around the corner there. So you can just about see the sunbeams being scattered. Then again, animals are like people. Animals, if it's cold like this, they generally stick to the thicker parts of the bush. But we may be lucky with them crossing. I'm actually quite interested. Let's just go and have a quick look, because we haven't been to this hyena den since the other hyenas moved, and I think maybe we're going to have a look at the hyena den. But I just want to see if anybody has been utilising, because the hyena dens, when they get abandoned, other animals may utilise them. It could be that other hyenas use them. So on our way up towards Sandy Patch area, we'll see if we can have a scratch around there, see if we're able to find the cubs, if they're still there, find tracks of Karula. Nice to catch up with her. Hey, good morning to you, Fabienne. Welcome on board this morning. Over there in the US as well, I think. Is it New York? Texas, sorry, Texas. Sorry, Fabian. Wanting to know, apart from leopards, what other animals have multiple births? And it generally is just the carnivores. Carnivores tend to have a number of animals, or babies per litter, trying to increase the chances of survival. So instead of putting all the eggs into one basket, so to speak, and just having one offspring, try and have a few and hopefully one survives. I was reading the mortality rate of hyenas, and it's about 50-60% die before their first year. So very high. So lions, well, actually all your cats tend to have an average of 2 or 3 in the litter. Dogs tend to have more pups than the cats have cubs or kittens. Some of the smaller carnivores, they only have 1 or 2. The honey badger, they only have 1 or 2. Then you do get some of your... I'm saying you're a lot this morning. I think that's a very South African thing. I've noticed a lot of the guides, and we actually got told off by our instructor for doing it. We picked it up as well. A lot of the rabbits, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. The rabbits and the hares, they'll have large numbers. Old dung here in the road. It looked a little bit fresher than what it was. This one I am not picking up. Who was saying Karula? I forget Karula's dung. But this could well be. I don't know. I'm probably going to have to go this side. But I was just looking for tracks there. Can you see it there? Yeah, no. Wider. Ah. Oh, there we go. So that's what Karula's dung would look like. Could even be Karula's dung. Go and see if I can just turn it round a little bit for you. Still does have a bit of a scent to it. No tracks. It's quite dry as well, so it was probably yesterday or even the day before, especially with there not being any tracks there. But as I say, with the carnivore dung, there's a lot of bacteria that you really don't want to get on your hands, so never pick up the carnivore dung or the omnivore dung. It'll only be the herbivore. There's a lot of actually goodness a lot of the time that's actually wasted in the herbivore dung. But that's what the carnivore dung looks like. If you think about your cat or your dog at home, it tends to be like a little sausage with a tapered end, whereas the herbivores tends to be quite a lot rounder, and that would be to do with the muscle movement actually inside the animal, as well as obviously what they eat and the way it forms the dung as well. You get usually pellets or something similar to pellets, maybe large balls of dung, especially if it's elephant, it would be like this sort of size, but usually sort of round in shape, not sausage shape usually. So that would be leopard dung. I don't know how much detail you could see, but there was a lot of fur in there, which is quite characteristic of it as well. Able to get those tiny little birds up in the tree. If anybody wants to ID this little bird, we haven't ID'd this one. We have had it on drive before, but if anybody wants to play along and ID the bird, questions at wildearthsafari.tv. If there's any more in the sun. There's another one sitting on the branch closest to us. Oh, there's another one there. Quite nice fit to sit out in the sun for us. Very nice too. A small flock of them here. White-tailed mongoose has been around this morning. Well, last night. Tracks look fairly fresh, so I think it was probably the early hours this morning. And leopards sometimes do leave their dung out in the road, in areas where other leopards are likely to find it. It's a way that they mark the territory. And jackal will also do the same. They'll pick a spot that's maybe slightly higher, a little mound or something like that, and then leave their dung there. So other jackal can't miss it. So there's no excuses. spotted a wood dove on the road, and we're actually in the right position that we might be able to see those beautiful metallic green spots on its wing. No, don't fly away. I was only clearing my throat, didn't have to fly. It does get its name from the two spots on the wing, and it's got a rusty colour underneath the wing. Beautiful little dove. So if we can try and find another one, they're pretty common around here. The trouble is they do tend to fly off just as you approach them. White-tailed mongoose was all over the show. Oh, I need to give the lens a quick wipe there. Rhino came down this way. Ah, maybe that's what happened. Maybe Rhino did a 90-degree turn and came this way. Sometimes they do that. Could be Shorthorn then. Looks like he's been at his midden. Rhino's very polite. They use toilets. And I'm sure they must do it in the road. I'm sure they do it because they think that the car's also going to help them spread their scent. Because as we drive, we try not to drive through the dung. Sometimes it is unavoidable. So as we drive, we're going to be marking their territory for them too. I wonder if that's ever crossed their mind. A lot of hyena activity here. Termite mound looking like a rhino. It's not on. Good morning to you, Peggy. I'm on board this morning. Wondering if the African wildcat also defecates out in the open, or does it bury it? And that one actually, I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever found African wildcat dung. I'll have to try and find out for you, Peggy. We used to have we used to have a couple of African wildcats. Especially where I used to work, and we've got one here as well. We used to see them, but they were still fairly shy. They are fairly closely related to the domesticated cat. So it would make sense for the African wildcat maybe to bury their dung. But then their larger cousins don't tend to do that. The lion and the leopard do tend to leave it out in the open. Occasionally I've seen the lion kind of make a feeble attempt at covering it. Maybe a couple of paw scrapes. And sometimes if a female's in estrus, sometimes you do see the female actually kicking her back legs on it, and that's possibly to mark the area with her scent as well. We're trying to encourage the males to come and smell. Especially when she's urinated. I've seen that a couple of times. In fact, I've actually seen it in... Oh, hello, zebra. I've seen it in captive lions as well as wild lions. Where's the rest of your family? Ah, there we go, Peggy. Dropping is usually buried in the same way as domestic cats, but may also establish latrines where the droppings accumulate. So a bit of both, Peggy. And this is the only species of zebra that we get here in Sabi Sands. The common or the plain zebra. They have now decided that they are virtual zebra once again, because for a little while they were deemed different, and it was actually thought that the virtual zebra were extinct down here in South Africa, because they are very different to the virtual zebra in Eastern Africa. I can try and get him back in view and go a bit forward. Ah, there we go. There's another one just here. If I can pull forward a little bit so we can see. Oh, you've got a bit of a spook there. That's a good one. Oh. That's what's possibly spooked it. There's some trumpeting going on. We need to turn around. Are you going to come out in the open so we can see you? The one in your screen now is not a great example. Let me just see if I can pull forward a little. Oh, you're going to come out now. If we can just zoom in a little bit more on the one on the right, you might be able to see the shadow stripe. It's that brown stripe. Yeah, that one also has got them. There we go. So you've got the black stripe, the white stripe, and then the brown stripe. And that's known as the shadow stripe, that brown stripe. And that's very characteristic of this particular type of zebra. And the virtual zebra in Eastern Africa don't have that. And I think there was a couple of other differences as well, but I'm not too sure what they were. I think one of them might have been the ears, the size of the ears. So for a while they decided that...
shorter manes and stripes like go under their bellies, the Cape Mountain.
No, it's not the Cape Mountain, it's the virtual zebra.
No, but the Cape Mountain.
Yeah,
They don't have to.
yeah. And Becky's just bringing up the Cape Mountain. Okay, I thought you were sort of talking about something completely different to what I was. Yeah, so I was talking about the Burchell zebra in East Africa. Looking slightly different, but Becky's right. The Cape Mountain zebra, which is another subspecies of zebra, and the Hartmann's Mountain zebra, also another subspecies of zebra, have the shorter manes, and the stripes do go further down the belly, almost wrap around the belly, whereas these ones have got the white belly with just a stripe underneath. They've gone now. Okay, well, let's see if we can catch up with the elephants and the trumpeter. And the Cape Mountain zebra do live down in the western side of southern Africa. The Hartmann's Mountain zebra have a huge dewlap underneath their neck. Have you seen the Cape Mountain?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they've got bigger ears. They start over like that.
Mm.
They kind of stop. They look more like a wolf.
Yeah, they do have the bigger ears. I actually haven't seen one. Sorry, I misheard you say the stripes finish above the belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Stripes finish above the belly. And bigger or smaller than the zebras here? Okay, the trumpeting sound is like somewhere in here. Jeez, maybe we should try Rebecca's Road. It didn't sound like it was too far away. We need to switch off again and listen out for any branches breaking. I think it was somewhere in here, maybe. Hi, Brian. And hi, Wendy. Wendy saying black crowned chagra. And Brian saying red-billed quelea. Maybe, I was hoping the sun was actually going to shine up the yellow breast for you, but maybe it didn't come through too well. A good guess is, but not quite right, it's a tiny little bird. Not having the numbers of the quailias. In fact, the quailias are famous for actually having large numbers in their millions as they flock together. There's nothing on this side, so I'm pretty sure it's landed somewhere in the bush there. Or maybe we should do a loop again. We'll carry on up Zoe's road. And maybe come down Rebecca's road. See if they pop out at any stage. So I'm not hearing any branches breaking here. And there's no real way of telling which way they might have gone. Just keep a listen out for it again though. A couple of people are asking about which books we use. Well, I've been using the Field Guide to Mammals of Southern Africa by Chris and Tilde Stewart. This one here. And I have put up on my Facebook page, on my public Facebook page, the ISBN numbers of the books that I've been using. So if anybody wants to have a look at those, then the ISBN numbers are on the Facebook profile and the authors, the title. I find it quite nice. It's got a lot of information there and nice pictures as well. That's the one that I've been using to show you the mammals. That's the one I just found the information about the African wildcat. If this rhino's made its way up towards Impala Plains too, maybe it's worth us checking there. It doesn't sound like anybody's headed towards Sandy Patch, so I might have to go and have a quick scratch around there. We do lose a little bit of signal. Zebras were. And still are. Shinwari is close to Port Elizabeth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah, I had a friend that also studied down there. Because Becky's saying that the saw the Cape Mountain zebras down there. Port Elizabeth's right on the southern coast. And I think we'll just pop in on the hyenas since we're here. Excuse me. See how they're doing. See if they're out and about. Again, might just give the elephants a chance to pop out somewhere. We're going to have a quick look at Impala Plains. Drive down Rebecca's Road, come back up onto Quarantine, maybe have a scratch around, see if the baboons are awake properly. They are around. And then, oh, there's the emerald spotted doves. I need them to be on this side. That's going to be quite awkward to get. Again. Because they're just in the shadow, so you're not going to see those green spots. Hey, more zebra. Hello. Just a little bit fuzzy. A little foal. There's another couple on the left there as well. If anybody's looking for mangua this morning, there's some by the Hyena Den on Zoe's Road and Zoe's Road itself. There's the oxpeckers. Just goes to show the oxpeckers will sit on anything. From zebra to rhinos to buffalo to giraffe. Ah, spot on, Brian. Good to hear you're on board this morning. As I say, I don't think the sun was shining up the colour as well as I hoped. It was the yellow-fronted canary. That was our little bird earlier. There you go. You can see the stripes on this zebra reaching around the stomach, wrapping around the stomach. Getting myself confused a bit earlier. Now you may notice that they are quite round, and it's often thought that they are pregnant, but you really see the female when she's pregnant. She's almost she almost looks a little bit awkward. But zebras are normally quite bloated, so you've got to look for that funny shape of the female to see if she is pregnant or not. And again, just as I was talking about the dung earlier, they are a hindgut fermenter, so they rely on the cecum in between the intestines, the small and large intestine, to break down the cellulose from the plants that they eat. So because they only have the one intestine to really absorb a lot of the nutrients once they get past the walls of the plant, the cell walls of the plant, they do actually waste quite a lot of goodness in the dung, and that's one of the reasons why the hindgut fermented dung tends to be much larger than that of the four-chambered stomach animals. Even the giraffe, you're looking at 1.2 tons, and the giraffe dung is tiny. It's much smaller than that of the zebra, because they have four-chambered stomachs, and they regurgitate the food that they've already eaten. They chew it around, make it nice and mushy, break down the cell walls of the plants so that digestion can start as soon as that's re-swallowed and it goes through the stomach, so the stomach will also digest it, so you have both intestines to absorb it. So actually what comes out the other end of a four-chambered stomach animal tends to be pretty much all waste. But the rhino, the elephant, the zebra, even the hippo, there's a lot of goodness there that is wasted. But the hippo, not as great a deal as the other animals. They have a lot of build-up of gas, and that's one of the reasons why they do look so bloated all the time. And if they run, that's when you hear they're full of gas. Cool. Now let's see if we can have a quick look, see if the hyenas are awake. Maybe they're inside. Might well be keeping warm. That's if they're still here, they might have moved. Oh, hello buffalo. Buffalo here too. There's some more zebra. Apparently this is the place to be this morning. Do a bit of a circle around here then. Back and say hello to you, buffalo. Have a quick look here. Nobody there. Is anybody around this side? Yes, hello, little one. Just poking their head out there. In fact, let me turn around, because then we might be able to see the buffalo as well. I'm going to turn around and reverse in. There's the buffalo. Doesn't look too impressed. So the cubs are inside. It's sensible of them. So the buffalo is just in front of us. to pop the heads up again. And I think it's actually... Ooh, hello.
Inside of the dam. Yeah, just come here to the dam and you see that what looks like the ran to the south of the western side of the dam. It's much better than I don't know the
Stations to Inyati at the Mbisi Kaya, and Mbisi Kaya is not active at the moment. We saw 1 or 2 Mampimpan, but they're inside now. I think they were curious to see what we were about, but they have gone underground again. But definitely worth doing, especially with the buffalo around. Hyenas shouldn't really pose a threat to buffalo, but maybe if there was a few females with calves around, adult hyena may hunt the young buffalo if they really need to. There's not too much in the way of carrion around, so maybe if the cubs were out, these buffalo bulls might just chase them. You see, he's very alert, and it could well be because he's picking up the scent of the hyenas around here too. And again, a lot of the interactions really will depend a lot of the time on their experiences. So if you've had maybe a... Oh, hold on, sorry, someone's calling me. You're standing by? We just saw a couple of Mampimpans at the entrance, but they've gone inside now. But there's a couple of Inyari here as well. So as I say, if they haven't had that experience, then they don't know to be wary until they've had that experience. And mothers will often pass down to the offspring what to be wary of, the way that she reacts to things. It'll be passed on to them. And sorry, was that Mary? Mary asking the question. Caroline. Sorry, Caroline. Don't know where I got Mary from. But good morning, Caroline. Okay, I'm just going to pull forward so we can see the buffalo a little bit better. Because might just pop the heads up again. Let's go and see the buffalo. I was hoping with the sun's actually just catching of the den. I was hoping maybe they would come out a little bit, but as I say, I think it's probably sensible that they don't. With these buffalo around. And Caroline wondering, am I afraid that I'm going to be attacked? And not really, Caroline. I just want to see if I can get around this tree because we'll see him nicer there. He's going to move on. He's just hopefully going to come out into that little open spot there. And especially being in the vehicle's kind of your safety net. And a lot of the animals are used to the vehicle, and as I was just saying about the mothers will pass on to the offspring what they should be scared of and what they shouldn't be scared of. Excuse me. I'm just going to pull in a little bit further. There's another buffalo here. And so he was just a little bit wary of us, so he's moved off. So if the animals have had good experiences, that will be passed on to the offspring. If the animals have had bad experiences, then that will also be passed on to the offspring. So you get some very skittish animals and you get some very relaxed animals. But generally, if the animals are not quite happy with you being there, they'll generally move away. And if you treat the animals with respect, they generally are pretty relaxed. I don't know where that other buffalo went. He was just around here, maybe went round the back of the Termite Mound. But let's see if we can go back that way. See if the road again. But it is a lot to do with how you approach the animals. You don't want to go charging in and driving right up to them, because that's just like somebody coming right up to your face and standing right in your face. It's not very many humans that will tolerate that. Animals are the same. If you give them their space, if they're not comfortable, they'll move away, or they'll tell you they're not comfortable. They'll give you warning signals. But if you ignore them, that's when you might have a problem. So I'm not saying that animals won't charge, because they might. And even the vehicles, animals might charge the vehicles. They've gone further back that side. One last check on these little guys. Nope. They were curious and then they decided, nope, we're going to go and hide. Doesn't look like there's an adult there either. That's possibly another reason why they're hiding away. Sometimes there may be a babysitter there, sometimes not. We've been seeing, it's almost as if the mothers have been taking in turns just to stick around, but then I say there are times where they may be left unattended. And there may be a little hole further back, so in that den an adult might be able to fit. I wonder. the same. They were saying there may be a smaller hole a little bit further back in that tunnel where the cubs can go and hide away if there's any animals, larger animals around that could be a potential threat to them, and they can actually further back into the den. And even other hyenas can stay away from other hyenas now that, oh, it moved. There's an emerald spotted dead in the road. Sorry, Franklin. Crested Franklin in the road. And good morning, is it Lynn? Lynn from Minnesota. All fluffed up, look. Morning, Lynn. Wondering what the trees are with the red leaves. I'm not too sure where we were when you saw that, but the Tamborti trees are starting to turn. They do have a little bit of red. Unless you're talking about the silver cluster leaves, they're starting to turn a little bit. Could well be. We'll see if we can find a tree for you. The silver cluster leaves are actually just around us now. And if it was just by the den, then it might have been those. I actually didn't see. Wasn't paying attention. But Franklin's just enjoying that sunlight hitting them now. And just like any birds across the world, you will find on cold mornings them fluffing up the feathers to trap a layer of air which helps to insulate them. Now, quite interesting with the hyena. I've always known it to be usually two baby hyena that are born, but apparently there can sometimes, on occasion, be a third. But generally, with the competition being extremely high between hyenas, that's one of the carnivores, large carnivores. I was just thinking about the question earlier on, that may not have a lot of young. Oh, red leaves surrounding the buffalo. Let's go and have a quick look again. I think that could possibly be try and make our way up towards the sandy patch area. But I'm intrigued now. Or is that intrigue? Sorry, that was very bad. I think these ones could be what you're asking about. Looks like it's a dead bush willow. I'm just going to climb back in just because the buffalo were around. I don't think they're going to be back around now, but is this, hopefully this might be the tree that you're asking about, Lynn. It is the bush willow. The red bush willow. The red bush willow tends to have this little funny little quip in the top of its leaf, and many of the red bush willows will have that. It's almost, the leaf gets turned 90 degrees, so you might be able to see that. That's the only one that looks very red here. So I'm hoping you can see that. So again, you can get variation. You might not always get this funny little side turn curve on the leaf, but many of the trees do have it. That's the red bush willow. Part of the combretums. No worries, Lynn. Some of the seed pods. Where's the seed pods? I saw a couple then. Sure, I'm just going blind now. I'm sure I saw some. Ah, there. Let me just see if I can grab a couple of the seed pods and show you the seed pods. So this is a combretum seed pod, which is one of the seed pods from the actual red bush. Let me get rid of my gloves so you can see it better. Yeah, still hear the oxpeckers. There you go. Is that better? So it's a four-winged seed pod, very characteristic of the combretums. They also include the leadwood. That's quite a common tree that we get around here. And the large fruited bush willow, the fruits on them are probably about this big. And what else do we get here? The russet bush willow makes a very nice tea. I don't think this one makes a nice tea. But also very, very hard woods, very dense woods. Very good for using for fire. And I think probably in the past using the wood for building materials, especially the leadwoods. They would use them for railway sleepers and things like that. So quite a common family, quite a nice tree to find as well. Especially these seed pods, very pretty. Yeah, I can see another one over there. I think that's the ones that you were seeing. There's a couple more that have started turning red as well. Okay. that lion track somewhere off in Buffelshoek. Sounds like they're heading east and then south and then east. About there. It is up in Buffelshoek. Sure, I can smell the fruit from the torchwood. Wow, very strong. Rhino's been lying here. It looks like the rhino walked down the road a little bit past the hyena den. Yeah, I wrote it somewhere and I can't remember where I wrote it, so I'll try and find it again. Because it was one of those moments, because I've always been trying to find what it is that makes the whole. Say, I just happened to be flicking through the butterfly book. Was it the butterfly book? Maybe it was a plant book. It was one of the books, and I was looking for something else and just happened to come across the large fruited bush willow, and I found the larvae was actually that of a butterfly. Actually, have to try and find where I wrote it down again. I'll try and find the book again because it popped out in my head. Apparently this road is called Bella 90s Road. I never knew that. Saw it on the map the other day. I was like, oh, that's quite interesting. But here we are at Impala Plains. Looks like a big herd of buffalo were here. Drakensberg. There's the mountains, the Drakensberg mountains at the back there. Might just be a little bit faint, but you might be able to see them. And just beyond that actually lies the third largest canyon in the world. And apparently the largest green canyon in the world. The Blythe River Canyon. And if ever you come to visit South Africa and you drive from Johannesburg to the Sabi Sands, you can actually drive through the Drakensberg to get here, and it is absolutely stunning. I think they actually call it the panoramic And there's a couple of drives you can do up there, and you can go and see all the formations. And you can actually see part of the canyon. And they call parts of it God's Window, the Rondavels, 3 Rondavels. There's a few other viewing points there. Absolutely stunning up there. And then you can go on a boat, actually, in the canyon itself, on the river. So the rhino is walking round and round in circles this morning. I think this could be the same rhinos that had tracks from down there. Comes through here and then comes along here. And I'm starting to get that sweet smell from all the dry grass again. Last station, can you repeat? You're breaking up. Standing by?
I was just telling some below will be copy.
Okay, copy. Did anyone go and try around Sandy Patch to see if the Mampimpans are still there?
Yeah, I thought we thought of person for March, just to the north from there. And we just this is done, but yeah, we just have any about this. Might be some just done by
Copy. Thanks a lot, Texan. Somebody did go and check. I thought so. A bit odd, but there was nothing that came through on the radio. Apparently, they found the tracks of Karula passing through there. Looks like she headed north. They said they're not fully convinced that she went right over into Buffersuck, so maybe we should go and have a scratch around there. Let's see where our rhino went. So there's a couple of tracks. I think maybe looks like it could have crossed there. Okay, well let's try Rebecca's Road. Go up through Quarantine, as we were saying, see if the baboons are still around there, which they might well be. And maybe our rhino did something funny through here somewhere. like it was too far away. Those tracks look nice and fresh. It could just be hidden, tucked in behind a bush somewhere. Okay, give this little emerald spotted dove a go. It's on the wrong side of the sun, but you may just be able to see those two little spots. No. Not quite. That is a little emerald spotted dove. I'll keep trying to see if we can get one this side of the sun. There's been a lizard walking through there. Lots of rodents. Also just checking these termite mounds, see if there's any activity from the dwarf mongoose this morning. Might still be just a tad cold for them. The sun is climbing higher and higher and it's starting to get warmer. You see it just through the grasses, just in between the two very dark patches. Oops. there. It'll be in there. I don't know if there's vegetation in the way. Oh, there is, yeah. That's what I was talking about. Dwarf mongoose. There might be other mongoose around. Looks like there's a couple more going to start coming out. There's one just below the screen. If we can just drop the camera just a little bit, might just be able to see the movement. If anybody wants to send through any interesting facts for the dwarf, these tiny little mammals here in South Africa, then send your question or send your fact through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv. But one thing I was actually reading the other day, a couple of days ago actually, because I always thought maybe bateleurs, they are eagles that will eat a lot of carrion. Carrion will make up quite a large proportion of their diet. But they are capable of hunting for themselves, and small mammals is on the menu. And I've always thought the dwarf mongoose would probably be one of those mammals on the menu. Now, quite interestingly, there are some reports where bateleurs have been known to eat mongoose, but it doesn't say if they were already dead or whether it hunted it. But there's also a report, I think it's in the southeast of South Africa, where there's a colony there that won't shout if a bateleur flies over, and yet other eagles they will call for. Because remember, the bateleur has a very short tail, so it's quite a distinctive eagle in the sky, and with these being a mongoose that can see extremely well, they should be able to see the difference between the eagles. So again, just as I was saying earlier, it really does depend, I think, on their experiences, and maybe predators in one area may hunt different animals depending on the availability. You see there's a plane or something flying overhead, which they don't like the sound of. Let's see where it is. No. Disappeared. Might take them a little while to come back out again. Let's continue on. Head towards quarantine area. I think our rhino might have and elephants might have stayed in here. And the rhino might have just found a nice sleeping spot in there. We had trumpeting a little bit earlier on. Maybe we should make a quick turn down by Treehouse Dam before we head up. Now, one thing that may turn animals off from eating the mongoose is they've got a very smelly scent gland that may actually turn a lot of predators off. Some species of mongoose, they're actually quite funny. You get this, especially the solitary mongoose, and even the genet will actually do a handstand and wipe their anal gland as high up on a branch or the trunk of a tree as possible. Quite interesting to see. Hi Joe, I'm on board, and I hope you were on board a little bit earlier when Alan came back with what the white spots were underneath the eyes of the buffalo. But Joe wanting to know, have I ever seen the mongoose catching anything, and do they all gang up on it? And I've seen them catching spiders from the webs. I've seen them catching insects and even chasing after a lizard. But it's kind of whoever sees it gets to eat it. You don't really hear of the dwarf mongoose catching venomous snakes like maybe the banded and also the meerkats do. And then they will actually gang up and help, and even the scorpions. You may get one or two helping with a scorpion. The dwarf mongoose decide to go for a scorpion. But as I say, generally seem to be sort of each for his own kind of thing. Broke up a little bit there. Okay, we're getting a little bit of radio breakup, but I think Caroline from Chicago, didn't see Caroline. Now, if this is true, I've never heard this before. Apparently, mongoose giggle when they mate. I think that's what you were saying. I've not heard that one before. That's quite interesting. I know the baboons, when they mate, it sounds like they laugh a little bit, especially the males. Quite a distinctive call. Just thought we'd swing by here just in case the rhino came down this way to drink. Sadly not. I think they are still around in that block somewhere. I think we need to just get out onto Weaver's Nest Road. Have a quick drive by to see who's been around here too. There's been a couple of Ellies here. go now. We're on Weaver's Nest Road now. And if anybody is wanting to follow us on the map, just go to www.wildearth.ning November Indigo November, forget what G is. What's G? It's just popped out in my head as well. Golf, there we go, thank you. November Indigo November Golf.com. Then you go to the resources, pull down the resources, and on there it says menu. No, map. Click on the map. I'll show you the traverse here. Interesting. Thanks, Colin. Welcome on board to you. But apparently caught in a tree stump and the ground hornbill found it and ate it. Ground hornbills tend to eat anything they can get their beak around, including tortoises. And we have seen ground hornbills here. They're quite an impressive bird. Ground hornbills. Probably about its size, maybe a little bit larger than as a turkey, standing wise. And they're beautiful long eyelashes, relative of the smaller hornbills that we get. Our leopards here, and that's actually quite interesting. In the books, leopards aren't really listed as predators of the dwarf mongoose, but we have seen our leopards on a number of occasions catching dwarf mongoose. As I say, a lot of the books are written about animals in a particular area, and a lot of what you see maybe doesn't get written down in a book. Maybe no one's ever seen a ground hornbill eating a mongoose. Maybe they have. Maybe it's a common occurrence. That's the thing with nature. Anything goes. And we're just seeing a tiny snapshot in the lives of the animals and the birds and the insects and the plants. The more awareness there is, the more information actually comes out, and the more we're actually learning all the time. So what we think is true one stage, maybe 10 years ago, may be completely turned on its head because of a little bit more observation. What am I seeing there? I'm seeing a waterbuck over there. The waterbuck's seeing us. Seeing the other waterbuck behind it. Oh, there's a couple of birds in this tree here as well. I'm able to see those little birds. Oh, there's the waterbuck. That actually is as close as we get to a donkey here. It does look a bit like a donkey, although it's not related. It is an antelope. One of the more water-dependent antelope. Looks like they're possibly heading down towards Gowrie Dam. I wonder if the male stopped harassing. There was a female that was possibly coming into estrus. I wonder if he's left her alone now.
Andrew. And back. Yeah, I'm getting mobile at the pool. Any changes? Salute. Okay, sir, thanks. No trouble this morning. Nothing at all. Quiet, lad. It is quiet as if they have taken the broom and swept the whole area. Yeah, you must also remember that Saturday is just remember what? Saturday today, I went somewhere for holiday. Yeah, I think they're planning about
Hi, Joanne.
Good morning to you.
Oh, leopard did walk down here. Old though. But Joanne being very surprised by the hornbills having the long eyelashes, and do all birds have eyelashes? And I think they do to a certain degree, it just depends on the species. The eyelashes do, just like humans, or the eyelashes on humans helps to protect the eye from insects and things like that. But it's thought because the ground hornbill tends to be out during even the heat of the day foraging for food, it's thought that those long eyelashes help to protect from the sunlight as well. And even the smaller species of hornbill do have very long eyelashes, but not as long as those on the hornbill, the ground hornbill. Feathers are made of the same substance as hair and fingernail on a human. It's all keratin, so it'll just be modified. But as to all birds having them, I don't know if there's any birds that don't have them. Maybe the penguins don't have them. I don't remember seeing any eyelashes on the penguins. I think, as I say, it does depend on the species. Many will have them to protect the eyes. Yeah, we got the guinea fowl just today. No guinea fowl, more quiet today. Hi, Stacey. Stacey from Australia, saying the dwarf mongoose make a communal latrine for the dung and the urine. Thanks for that, Stacey. Another thing that the birds actually have, if they don't have eyelashes, they also have the third eyelid that's fairly clear. It's called a nictitating membrane, and many of the birds will actually have that, probably instead of the eyelashes. And it almost acts like a pair of goggles, especially when you've either got birds flying extremely high altitudes or whether they're diving into the water. A lot of the eagles have that. Their booms came this way. That's where they've gone. Looks like they've gone in there. A bit of dung left for us as well. try Orby's Road. We'll do a bit of a loop down Ruby Road. We'll have to try the baboons later tonight. Actually, maybe we can take Sandy Patch up to Sydney's Dam. Just have a bit of a scratch around there. We'll see how the signal holds. Ah, there's the baboons. So they've been doing this then. So it must have been tasty for them to eat. Remember the drive that we did with Graham? And they did exactly this. Walking down the road. And kept going off and then coming back on again. Still no sign of Huey. Huey being the youngest male in the troop. He's no longer with the troop. LB. Let's see if we can get over this little hump and then stop. You see Tangman up ahead, just in case there's any danger up there. You may just see them stopping and maybe either climbing a tree or standing on the back legs just to see over that tall vegetation. And LB at the rear. Gordy just behind Tankman. It'll probably be Shirley just behind him. She's the most dominant female. Let's see if we can catch up with them a little bit again. Didn't see any eyelashes on the guinea fowl there, Joanne. Speaking of ground hornbills, I think the ground hornbills have been around here. Looks like their tracks are here. Keep a look out for the big birds. They might be sitting in the tree, especially with the baboons around. Might get a fright. They're very skittish birds. I don't think a baboon would pose a threat to them, but maybe just the movement. Who knows? Might just lose them as they disappear over the ridge there. We're going to try and see if we get a chance to actually get in front of them so we can see them properly. At the moment, the bush is too thick. But it's going to be opening up very shortly, so hopefully we will get a chance to see them if they don't disappear into the bush before then. Maybe they thought he was back for a while. See, one went off that side. There you go. You can see Tankman just standing on the back of his legs. I think there was a with. I don't know what's just made them decide to run now. I think possibly wanting to get past this thick vegetation here, maybe. They certainly seem to be on a mission. I wonder where they are going. I think the ground hornbills might have gone in here. Looks like their tracks did go off this side, unless they've done the same thing and come back onto the road. Now this might be our chance to actually get in front of them. Tankman taking position upon the termite mound. Just having a look around, making sure there's no potential threat in the immediate area. Gordy, didn't know you were there. too late. Stop and forage here. The show is looking a little bit relaxed as well. It's starting to spread out a little bit, so they might just decide to start foraging here. See if we can catch up with them again. Just before they head around the corner to an area where there's not a great signal for us, but we're going to go up this way anyway. They do certainly seem to be on a mission. See Impala there. Evelyn trying to play with Gordy by the looks of it. And Gordy just brushing her off. Shame. Well, being reprimanded by Shirley then. At least we're able to catch up with them for a bit. Great view of them, but still good to see them. You can see the impala if I just move past this tree just a little bit. You can see the impala there. And keeping quite a close watch on the baboons, quite interestingly. Watching them as they did walk by. And as I was saying earlier, baboons have been known to kill and eat cheetah cubs. They've also been known to kill and eat impala young. But again, it will depend on the troop in the area. And I don't think we've actually seen the Gowrie gang do that. It's still quite interesting that they were watching them. You know, it could be that they've just been on high alert anyway, because apparently this is where the cubs were, so it could still be that Karula might be in the area. And that could have something to do with it. Maybe they're just watching every movement that's going on. Let's take a drive up here, you never know, we might hit it lucky. Hoping we're not going to lose you too much with the signal. See how these little plants are doing. These might have dried up by now. Oh, I still have a little bit of water in them. Somewhere. Oh, it does. Just a short out. Seeing a warthog. A while since we've seen a warthog. way because they're just behind the trees for us. There. There's a couple more in the trees here. Always looks odd when warthogs start feeding like this. They actually have the hard calluses on those joints when they're first born. Oh, there's some giraffe tracks here. Maybe we'll bump into a giraffe. But they eat a lot of the grass. They do eat insects and even meat, especially during the winter time, supplementing their diet. And they dig up some tubers and things like that too. But it gives them easy access to that food. They kneel down. It would be the equivalent of our wrist joint that they're on. Which is very nice. Let's see if we can just move a little bit further along the road. We might be able to see the rest of the family. I'm hoping they're not going to run off. See that little female underneath the bush there? There's a couple of young piglets there. You can almost see that the crest is raised. It looks like it's two females. Two females and possibly the pig. They look the same age, so possibly piglets from one female. And this is perfectly normal. You don't always have a male with the females. Can be two females with their offspring. Can be younger males who haven't left home yet with the mum. But you can see that beautiful long mane down the back, and when they're scared they'll actually erect that so they look much larger than what they are. A lot more intimidating. You often find the piglets erecting their hairs, even when it's a little bit windy. They get a fright very easily. Oh, we gotta change battery quickly. Okay, we'll keep a lookout for draft down here. And keep a lookout for the ground hornbills. They're somewhere in this block here, I think, unless they've flown off. We got somebody here. It is another termite mound. Yes. Doing well spotting the termite mounds this morning. Oh well, it's always worth checking because you never know. Hello. Drag mark from a leopard. Leopard dragging something this way. Where should we go to? Oh, there it goes. Up the road. I see it. I don't know if we can we actually jump off? If we're able to jump off. You can kind of see it there. Just want to try and show you the leopard tracks actually in it. Have we got a long enough cable to do it? You're not sure?
Looks quite long. Can I take
Do you want to give it a go?
Can we take this out?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to try and give it a go. See if I can actually show you this. I can actually see where it's going as well. talking to mic
Yeah.
1. Should have
Audio.
audio. Okay, there we go. Sorry. So there we go, we've got the leopard track just here. With the 3 distinct lobes there and the toes there, and you can see this swish here. So this is the front pad, this is the back pad. Back pad's slightly more oval than the front pad, which tends to be a bit more rounder, but still quite a round track. And could well be Karulas actually. Could well be. Looks like it. It dragged all the way down the road there. On the wrong side of the road for me to see it. It's actually crossed over. So let's turn around and see if we can see a tree with a kill in it somewhere. Ah, there's a bird of prey flying overhead, so that might also show us where she might be. Okay, well, let's jump aboard again. Turn around and see if we can find out where it goes. Wait a second. Sure. Take your time. Okay, goes aboard. See where this goes. It's a tree close by. Apparently leopards have been known to drag kills to about 1 kilometre away, but usually it's not as far as that. Okay, it goes in here. It goes in there. I'm not seeing any big trees in there. I'll poke a nose in here just to see. Let's see where. That trail might go. Now if I had a tracker, then if we had people with us who'd actually, one of us would usually stay with the guests, the other one would go off and see where the trail went. And sit with the guests. I'm not seeing any big trees where this kill may have gone, but it could be that it just got taken and put into a sheltered area. There's a lot of bushes just here. It could be that's where it went to. pretty sure it was actually Karula's tracks. They look like her tracks. Could be she dragged it out the way. We've seen her do that, so it's out the way of vultures. Just want to see if there's any movement. Now, if it is Karula, I don't particularly want to go and have a look around on foot. Especially with the cubs around, you do get, as with any animal, the females tend to be very protective over the cubs, and when you're on foot it's different to being in the vehicle. Okay, I'm just going to go a little bit further because I just want to see if there's any movement in these thick bushes, or maybe even on that termite mound. Around the termite mound. Tree up ahead. I wonder if that's where she went. Tree there. She doesn't always put a kill in the tree. It just depends on how much hyena activity there is and lion activity. Like I say, it could be on the ground. She could have dragged it further away. A bit of an Austin Powers movement. Tree just behind us. try and see if I can just talk to him quickly. Hello? Oh. Sorry, I couldn't get anything on the radio there. I don't know if you saw the drag marks here. I thought there's quite a big tree in the back there. Did you see the drag marks here? Yeah, radio, I couldn't, it's dead in this area. No, I thought there may, because there was a couple of big trees at the back there, so I thought I'd go in and have a look, but there's nothing. Yeah, he went, but
But it's very, very fresh.
exactly.
Because correlation, keep them babies there,
Yeah,
bring them somewhere this side there. Maybe she got this girl.
yeah, I think possibly in there. So there's a couple of very large trees at the back. I thought she might have just stashed it in here, that's why I thought I'd just go in and have a look. But
I'll try
can't
to
find anything there.
check around there.
Yeah, we went up. Yeah. Oh well, it was worth a try. So I didn't want to go too far in. I wanted to take you guys with us just in case we did find anything there. But if I'll keep my ear to the ground. If we do hear, or if they do happen to find anything, then we'll try and cut back. But I think she's gone maybe further into the bush. I was hoping she was just going to be along here somewhere. But as Texan said, it is very fresh. That's why we were following it. But we'll have to see. Maybe this afternoon. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining us here on Wild Earth, and thank you for all your questions that you sent in and answering all the questions that we gave to you this morning. Becky's been on camera, and Herman's been back in final control. My name's Tara, and you've been watching Wild Earth. And as I say, if I do hear anything between now and maybe the next few minutes or so, we'll definitely let you know. We'll try and cut back. But I think probably this afternoon is going to be our best bet. So take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye for now.